Welcome back, folks, from the Facebook group Honda Snowblower Enthusiasts. My name's Anthony, and today I wanted to show you my latest creation, the Honda Snowblower HS928. And I want to explain a couple things on how I built it, the upgrades I made, the full service points I made. My machines are taken all completely apart except for the engine and the hydrostatic transmission and rebuilt with the best parts I can find in my parts bins. Uh, my used machines are ready to go. They should be in great working condition and ready. They're not like any other used Hondas that are on the market. Very few people will take their machine to a shop and spend two, three, $400 and service it and repair it before selling it. But I do because this is my hobby and I have a lot of fun doing it. It took 5 machines to build this machine. That probably explains why when I sell these machines, I want trade ins of your old Honda. It doesn't matter what kind of condition, it can have a blown engine, blown transmission, gearboxes, broken handlebars. I don't care. Those are the kind of machines I prefer. Like for instance, on this machine, I used augers from one of my trade-ins. These are very beautiful augers. They're almost 100%. They would cost about $300 a piece if you bought these new. Then the bucket came from another machine. It was the best bucket that I had at the time, so that gets put on this machine. The engine's a nice strong GX 270 9 horsepower engine. That's how you find out uh, what size the machine is on the 928. The first number is the horsepower, which is 9. The second number is the width of the bucket, which is 28 inch. Another machine I use had a really nice chassis, which is the engine bed, the traction wheels, the pedal, the hydrostatic transmission. As long as I have a good drive, a good smooth driving chassis, and a good strong engine, I can build a really nice machine around it, I mean. And then the handlebars came from another machine. These are excellent handlebars. They practically new. And that's how I build the machine. I just take the best parts I can find and build it. I service the machine completely from top to bottom. I'll explain a service in another time. We have articles on that on our group. Let me show you some of the upgrades I made on this machine. The first one is a member contribution. It's a little rubber grommet that goes for the shooter control. The original part is a plastic piece, very cheap plastic piece that usually breaks, and then your handle is loose and it won't stay in a spot that you want the shoot in, and it rattles. So this is a rubber grommet. I don't have the size handy right now, but I get these from Mountain Hardware Store. Will have grommets. And thank you for the member that suggested that, because that's a great little hack. Another thing I did was I put an LED lamp in place of the halogen. This is much brighter. It's an AC DC lamp that I got from Amazon or eBay. They're about 17 bucks. You don't need any modifications. You just plug it in, and play. So that's great too. And another upgrade I made, which I make on all the machines, is I put a grease zerk. You can't see it right. It's underneath this plate here on the bottom of the plate, but there's a grease zerk in this final drive gearbox, and I pumped in a bunch of new grease. That's the gearbox that drives your tracks from the hydrostatic transmission. So hydrostatic transmission here has a shaft that goes into the gearbox on one end, and on the other end is your drive axle that drives your tracks. Right now it's in the engaged position. If you need to move the machine around, you put it in a release position. Now you can move the machine freely without turning it on. And then when you need to work the machine, then you put it in the engaged position and then you can drive it. A lot of times people forget that it's in the release position and they start panicking, excuse me, that the machine won't drive forward and back. So that's the first thing you check is make sure it's in the gauge position if you want to drive it. Those are the on this machine. Those are on the upgrades I made. When I service a machine, I always use the best parts. On critical parts like bearings, belts, this is your belt cover right here. This is 2 belts run this machine. One belt runs the augers, and the other belt runs your drive. So your belts are under there. Any critical part like a belt, a cable, and bearings, I only use new parts, new Honda OEM original equipment parts. Anything else that's not critical, I'll just find the best part I can find in my parts bins. You just don't mess around with critical parts like bearings, cables, belts. In a pinch, you might want to use something cheap, or you might want to use a used part to get you through a snowstorm or whatever. But when I'm building these machines, I always use brand new OEM original parts from Honda. And what else can I think of? That's basically it. This is what I do. I like to take machines and take them all apart, refurbish them the best I can. They try to get them in the best working condition. I always remove. I don't remove the carburetor on every machine. Here's your carburetor. This is your air box. The carburetor is on the other side, down here below too. I usually can clean it in frame, so I do that with every machine. I use ethanol-free gas if you can find it. That's the best gas to use. Otherwise, you use premium unleaded treated with a stabilizer. And when I change the oil, I use synthetic 5W30. I found out that there's 2 reasons why this is good. The first one is that it makes the engine easier to pull over, and also that it lasts longer. Any good 5W30 oil will do. Synthetic or old-fashioned dyno oil, it doesn't really matter too much. The main thing is the best thing you can do for a small engine is have clean oil in it. I usually change my oil every other year in the fall, or if you're a contractor that uses a snowblower to make money with, you want to keep it on a schedule, anywhere from 80 to 100 hours. Change the oil. That's what Honda recommends. If the oil's dirty on your dipstick, then you need to change it. And we've had articles on how to do that before. Maybe we'll make a video on it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. If you like this video and you think it helps you, please hit the subscribe button and follow our group on Facebook, Honda Snowblower Enthusiast. The more members we have, the better. I like attracting talent. We have a lot of good people on our group experts, Honda dealers like Dan in Tahoe City. We have other Honda dealers and small shop owners, Honda technicians, small engine technicians. The more the better. It gets the load off of me for answering every question, and I'm really not a professional. I just learned from experience from working on hundreds of these machines. And we get some experts. We have plenty of experts on the group that can answer all your questions. And that's about it, folks. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much.